We're here today to ask the Prime Minister about the future of public finance. Welcome back, Prime Minister.
Hello.
Now, why did the government continue to give Carillion contracts after 3 profit warnings?
As I said to Jeremy Corbyn and the House, we were customers of Carillion, not managers of Carillion.
Didn't you encourage small firms to get involved in public sector contracts so that they'd be joining in?
It's called trickle-down economics.
Except tens of thousands of small companies of skilled workers were left without pay for work completed.
Well, nobody could have seen that coming.
So how were hedge funds able to bet on Carillion's collapse and make so much money?
Well, you see, Carillion made a big donation to our party.
Why did the Conservative Party take that donation?
Well, because it was offered. Basically, we like money. I mean, just look at the hundreds of thousands the chief executive of Carillion has made. That's the kind of money I'm talking about.
And he's being paid for a further 10 months.
Absolutely.
But he's already got himself another job.
Yes, because his kind of talent for accumulating wealth is highly sought after.
And what about Carillion's 20,000 workers?
I wish them the best of luck, and I hear that Sports Direct is hiring.
Prime Minister, how can you expect the country to believe?
It doesn't matter what they believe, it's what we do and what we get away with that matters.
Isn't the point of private enterprise that they look after themselves and thrive or wither in a competitive market?
Well, no, not when it comes to government contracts. They must know that come what may, they'll be making a big profit out of the deal.
Well, it seems that's the case even when they don't win a contract.
Absolute rubbish.
Richard Branson successfully sued the NHS after he lost out on an £82 million contract.
Well, Richard is always trying.
Prime Minister, why not just properly fund the NHS and miss out the middleman?
Because the NHS needs private investment. If we can't pay over the odds for it and keep big business sweet with phony compensation, we might as well not even bother.
Well, let's have a look at another example. G4S awarded the contract to provide security during the Olympics.
You're quite right too.
Yet, on the opening day, without warning, they advised they couldn't manage it. So the military stepped in and G4S still got paid.
Of course they did.
Your party's on the record as saying they want to run the country like a business.
And we absolutely stand by that statement. We want the government to make risky promises to achieve high profits. When those attempts fail, we want the public purse to bail us out while ministers move on to highly lucrative jobs. Just look at George Osborne.
With respect, Prime Minister, you just seem to be making up a string of ridiculous excuses for negligent handling of public money.
People have a very short memory these days. We can get away with almost anything.
So, what now?
Well, in the case of Carillion, we have undertaken to fast-track the insolvency process so we can slap the appropriate
Well, you
risks.
said the same thing about BHS in 2016, and the Insolvency Service have just said they can't report on that till 2019, citing a lack of resources.
I suppose you're going to blame us for that
How
as well.
can you say you'll fast-track a process yet not provide sufficient funding to make that happen?
Sound bites sell. Look, the outcome is inconsequential, so why fund it?
What about all the other privately financed companies like Interserve? That's lost 80% of its value in the last 4 years, and now it's dropped further. Even Boris is out campaigning for the NHS. Is he perhaps trying to undermine you, Prime Minister? Circling the drains, so to speak?
The thing you've got to remember about Boris is that he's a Johnson.
Perhaps he knows that this kind of management risks a general strike, followed by a vote of no confidence in the government and another general election.
General strike? How ridiculous. Nobody would dare.
But with services at breaking point, especially the NHS, that could change.
Not at all. We have a strong and stable solution. You brought it up with the Olympics. The military have their own hospitals, so we'll make use of them once the NHS is even more on its knees. I worked hard to cut police budgets back when I was Home Secretary. Why keep the police when the army can perform the same service, save money and keep the public safe?
But what about Sir Nick Carter's statement about the British Army not being able to meet the Russians in the field?
Yes.
And why is he conveniently ignoring the fact that we're part of NATO and would therefore never face an invading force on our own?
Yes, you see, that's the lever. We'll pull that instill fear and the money will come.
So it is just a ploy to scare people into letting you have more money for the army.
Liberals and socialists may sneer, but thankfully they sneer more at each other, which is great, by the way. So if there ever was a general strike, it would be too late, because we'll have lots more army running everything by then.
So that's your solution to being bad managers?
Bringing the army in is good management. We're going to save a lot of money once we have everyone wearing the same uniform.
Well, there you have it. Thank you very much, Prime Minister.
Thank you.
Bihar.